The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, it's Lindsay Bjorklund back for another episode of the Grow My Cleaning Company podcast. I am the client happiness manager and also the podcast producer here. And today I have Jered back with me, who is we don't have a fancy title for Jered, we just realized, but he's our paid marketing. He does our paid marketing for Grow My Cleaning Company. And he also helps our elites with their paid marketing, actually pretty much any marketing really, Jered, I guess, right?
That's correct. Yep. I pretty much oversee all the marketing that he does.
Yeah.
But I'm specifically what I'm in charge of is anything that we're putting money behind.
Okay. Anything that we're putting money behind. So paid mostly with the difference being already on a tangent, like 2 minutes in, but the difference between paid and no. Yeah.
Like for example, someone's listening to this podcast right now. We didn't pay to have this, and nor is the person listening to this podcast paying to listen. So though it's a marketing effort, it's not a paid marketing effort. But what if someone was just walking down the street and all of a sudden a message popped up in front of them, or they're on their social media and something comes up, they're whatever? That's more of a paid effort. That's what we see. It's like, how do we get someone who's like not in our world to come into our world, where you are currently in our world listening to a podcast?
That was so meta. Okay. Thank you for explaining that, because that's a huge differentiation. Like I like to make between types of advertising right off the bat. So if someone's never done any kind of advertising and they're like, wait, what's paid? Is it all paid? Yeah, good differentiation. So for today, we're going to cover specifically how expensive is it really to get more cleaning clients? So that is our topic today. So Jered, I'm going to let you take it away, since I'm going to call you our paid marketing guru. I've just decided that. Okay. Paid marketing guru. Take it away. Just going to let you free form here.
Sure. Yeah, that is such a subjective question, because for different people, the price is going to be different based on what you understand about marketing. So it's just like anything in life. It's like, well, how many shots does it take me to get a basketball into a hoop? The answer is going to be, well, how many times have you practiced shooting a basketball? Because if this is the first time, it's going to take you a good while. And it's part of what is beneficial about the program that we have and what we do is that we essentially have a team full of people who are really good at shooting basketballs. And from there, you're able to come in and say, all right, I need to hit 10 baskets. And we can say, dude, we got a system. We know how this works. You're going to bend your knees. You're going to bring your arm up. You're going to have the hand here. You're going to follow through with your wrist, and allow you to just almost instantly start hitting baskets, as opposed to just, kind of trying to figure it out. So for so many people, marketing is, especially in the beginning, can be expensive when you just don't know what you're doing.
Okay. So you made a couple of really good points there that I just kind of want to backtrack to. One thing I caught on to right away is that you explained what we help with people with is we ask the question first, where do you want to be? What is your end goal? Basically, am I understanding that correct? Like, how many clients do you want to have a month? Like, what are good goal questions? Like, if you're just kind of like, well, I don't know, what would you ask yourself if you were the client?
Sure. So yeah, often when I do meet with people within our program, one of the initial questions or conversations we're going to have is going to be around where they are in their cleaning business. So for example, I think if I said, hey, raise your hand if you want 100 new cleaning clients today, most of our listeners would probably be like, yep, I'm in, let's go. But the truth is, can you handle 100 new clients today? Oof. Most likely the answer to that is no. And so the idea is, part of what our system is like, you need to have employees that can back with what you're doing. And so we get, sometimes people come in and say, dude, I only have me, or I have one employee. And sometimes we say, we have other people who say, I've got a team of 10 who's drying up and we need. And so that's what kind of causes that a first initial conversation to say, where is it that we need? But let's just use for this episode, let's focus in on, you got a team, you need more leads. Where are we going to go from there? When it comes to marketing. It's also going to change based on whether you're commercial or residential, but the amount of money you're going to put in is going to be roughly the same. It's just a matter where you're going to be putting it. And the idea is, what we teach is you want to find a specific person that you want to niche to. And so many people skip this step. They think like, well, yeah, anyone who wants their house cleaned or anyone who is a business that wants me to clean it, I'm gonna clean it for them because I want their money. And the truth of it is that that's not marketing. That's just being available, and being available is what every cleaning company is. And you're not going to have a sustainable growing business if you're speaking to everyone. In fact, the marketing term for that is, if you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. And that can't be more true, especially in today's marketing. Today's marketing, I just feel like I'm kind of rambling here.
No, it's good. This is good. I ramble on, but repeat that last point, because that was probably the most important part. Which
is, if you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. Yeah.
Write it down, folks.
Yeah, there you go. So there's a style of marketing. It's called Me Too marketing. And it's when we like look at Pepsi or Coca-Cola and all this kind of stuff, and we say like, how do they market? They're a corporation. They do this. And so we take essentially their voice and we plug it into our brand, which is we've been in business for 20 years and we do this and we do this. And this is why we're great, and whatever it may be. And the reason that it's called Me Too is that it's essentially just like trying to say like Coca-Cola. Yeah, we're like Coca-Cola, or Coca-Cola's like Pepsi, and Pepsi's like this. And you're just kind of copying what everyone else is saying. And, another term for this is that you're essentially all cows. And if you look out into a field of cows, you can't identify one cow from the other. You're just like, there's just a bunch of cows. But if one cow was purple, and this comes from the book, The Purple Cow, if one cow's purple, you're going to say, dude, all the cows out in the field, I see that one. That's a purple cow right there. And how interesting is that cow? So is everyone going to love a purple cow? No. But are you doing your job? Are you grabbing the attention of someone? And the people who do appreciate the purple cow then give you business. Your goal should never be, I want every single business in whatever country you're in or city or whatever to use my cleaning services. The answer what you should be thinking is, I want to find the people who I connect with the best and who I could serve the best. And I want them to be able to find me. And when we change our marketing to that, we eliminate so much of that more expensive marketing of just branding and putting all this stuff on everywhere and trying to just get seen and convinced. But instead we talk to a specific person, and you'll find that your conversion rate is going to go up as you do that. And so instead of speaking to 10,000 people and having one person listen to you, you can actually speak to 100 people and have 30 of them listen to you. And you can see how much that's going to help your conversion rate and your marketing efforts and all that.
Wow, dude, this is such a good, you just give us so much value in like that was a lot. Okay. So let me just go back and unpack it. Okay. So, I mean, really, basically, to sum it up, the bottom line is that, if I'm understanding you correctly, in other words, is niching down helps you get the most bang for your buck in marketing, among other things. But in our context today, you're going to eliminate a lot of money wasted on trying to, I always think of it as, well, you called it Me Too, but I always think of it as fishing, maybe because I've fished all my life, but casting a huge net, trying to catch like all the fish in like one area, as opposed to like taking your bait, putting some good lure on it. For us in Illinois, it was always the Velveeta cheese for catfish. I don't know, this is a crazy analogy, but you were going to catch a very specific kind of fish and it was good to eat. So I just feel like, if you cast a wide net, it's harder to catch your perfect ideal client. I don't know, tangent, weird analogy, but yeah.
Right. I guess the way we can see that is the net would be very expensive, and you would be pulling up shoes and fish that you don't like and have to filter through all that takes place. And so when you put that from a business standpoint, do you want to be spending your time spending a lot of money only to filter through to find the actual fish that you care about? Or would you rather take the initial research ahead of time and find the fish that are most valuable to you, what they eat, what time of day that they eat, where they're located, and throw your lines there? If you imagine, instead of buying a really expensive net and filtering through, if you were to be able to buy 8 fishing poles and put it exactly where you know your customers are, you're just going to catch more fish. And so that's kind of the mindset that we work with in Grow My Cleaning Company.
I like it. I like that analogy, maybe just because I like fishing, but I think that's a good, good description. Okay. So let's review. So we're assuming the person already has, workers, employees in this example, today's example. Next, they've started narrowing down their niche. So what's the system, I guess, Jered, after they have narrowed down their niche? What's next? What does that look like?
So once someone comes to us, because we walk them through that process, and it does take some boots on the ground on their end to kind of figure it out. The idea is we now need to test our messaging. Since the beginning of time, messaging is what converts people. It's not a Facebook hack. It's not this like, oh my gosh, we have this secret system that bypasses what everyone else, all your competitors know. The answer is we are really good at finding what people want, and we create messaging around that. And so that way, when people are just walking on the street or on their phones or on their computers or whatever it may be, they see something and they say, oh, I'm really interested in this. And we move them that direction. And so what is great about social media marketing or just marketing in general is that when you select a message, a headline that takes place, something you're going to offer, something that's going to speak directly to someone, it's not permanent. It's not what you have to have for your brand the rest of your life. You can, in fact, put out 3 different campaigns, and you can literally spend, and this is what we do, $5 on each of the messaging.
Wow.
So like, let's say we come up with five headlines.
Okay.
We'll spend $5.
Sorry to interrupt. That was way cheaper than I thought you were going to say.
Yeah. And we'll test. And if you're looking for the right things, what we look for is does Facebook like our ad? And is the first thing, which we do through something called impressions. And then the second thing is, do people click on this ad? Are they stopping and looking at this ad? And we're able to see, though on paper, we spent for 5 headlines, we spent $25 on this, $25 to find out which headline is going to convert and which one we can end up ultimately spending thousands of dollars behind to bring in customers for you is a great investment when done properly. But if we don't do it properly and we just say, you know what, headline's going to work great, and we just assume that this is going to be right. In fact, not to just keep rambling here, but I just had an experience of this. I've been running ads for Grow My Cleaning Company for a very long time. And I know what headlines work really well and all this kind of stuff. And so I've really kind of moved out of the testing phase in my own media buying experience. And just recently I did this thing where I was like, I'm just going to put this headline out. I already know it's going to work and blah, blah, blah. And I literally put it up and then I didn't even look at it because I just made an assumption like it's going to work. It's going to be fine. And then I was noticing my numbers just from the back end, calls being booked and all that kind of stuff. I was like, what's going on? And I went over and I was like, oh, turns out I kind of tanked what I was doing. From an owner of a cleaning company's perspective, they do that all the time. Where they say like, oh, I know what my customer wants. Their pain is this. They want this, and so they put it up there. And then when it doesn't work, they say, well, I guess these ads don't work for me. And the truth is, no, you just aren't presenting the right thing to this person. And so the idea is, you want to test different stuff and use a budget to test. That's the most valuable money you can spend in marketing. So once you get it, once you're like, hey, I'm noticing headline number 4 does better than. And, between my 5 headlines, headline number 4 is doing better. Then the idea is we start testing pictures to see which pictures work best, which ones stop people in their scroll. Then we start adding copy to that and saying, what is it that people are reading? How do they like long? Do they like short? Like we go through this entire process so that we can find what ad is going to bring people in for the cheapest cost. And then at that point, we start to scale because that ad is profitable for you now. Because here's the thing. If we create a system that says for every dollar you put in it, you're going to get $2 back. You have a winning system. Give it $1 million. That you're going to get $1 million in profit back. This is how this works. If you have a system where you put in $1 and you get 50 cents back, you got a problem because now you're getting 50 cents every time you invest $1. And that's where the issue is. So when you're starting, you have to have the mindset of like, look, I'm willing to just put money into this to see what's going to work. And then with the goal of, I want to create a system where I put in $1 and get $1 back. And once you have an ad that's doing that for you, you can scale that thing. And then all that little cost you had in the beginning means nothing to you because you have something that's working.
I'm just letting you talk because it's so good. I'm just like, no, it's good. You're probably just looking at me like, is Lindsay frozen? No, I'm absorbing stuff too, because it's really getting my gears turning. So, I mean, I just had like a million questions that this is where my brain goes. But when you were going on your little mini rants, which was awesome. Okay. First question. And I'm sure I've asked this before in another episode, but I always forget. So you got to remind me, how long do you test something for? I know it's going to be consistent, but how long before you're like, not working?
Good. Yeah. And that's, I have had some people where it depends on how much they understand their client. And so when certain people say, I've done this, I know this, I've spoken to multiple of my clients, they all said the same thing. Because realistically, the messaging doesn't come from you. It comes from the prospect, the person you want to target. So when you're having these conversations with people who, let's say, a residential cleaner, if you just talk about, hey, why did you choose us? What was it about us that you liked? Those type of conversations, they'll say, oh, I really like this, or I found that my other cleaners were doing this and I didn't like this, and I saw that you didn't, or whatever it may be. And you can go, oh, they really are frustrated when cleaners do this, and they really love it when cleaners do this. So I'm going to market myself as the cleaner that doesn't do this and actually does this. And at that point, you have messaging. But if you're just like, you know what, my cleaners or my people love is when I offer them 10% off or whatever it may be, that's going to be a harder sell, because what do you think everyone else is doing? They're offering this 10% off. And so you're the white cow amongst all the other white cows, when the idea is you want to be that purple cow. So to answer the question of like how much time or money, it's really based on what our messaging is. Now, I would say it's accelerated within our program because we force you and we give you the scripts on how to do it. And, and we follow up with you to make sure you're getting it done. But if you're the type of person who says, you know what, I'm going to take this on independently, I would say usually within a couple weeks of having conversations with people, kind of figuring that out, and then running your headline tests through there, you should have your data within a couple of weeks.
A couple of weeks. Okay. That's something solid that, so I've just hard numbers, because I like hearing hard numbers and timelines. So I heard $5 before, 2 weeks of testing. And I guess my next question is, and this is a very detailed, kind of ridiculous question, but what's more important in these type of ads that you're talking about? Is it, you mentioned pictures, you mentioned copy. What's more important, Jered? If someone's just starting out, what should they focus on in their ad?
Good question. So a picture is its whole purpose when it comes to social media marketing. If you're marketing on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever, a picture's job is to stop someone from scrolling. That's its whole purpose. So how do you get someone to stop scrolling? Is you need to have a picture that relates to them. Not necessarily a picture of like, I was going to say something gruesome, like a saw scene, like from the movie Saw Scene, like someone's hand chopped off or something like that. I'm going really extreme here, because that is going to stop someone from scrolling, but you're not pre-framing them to what you actually need. So what we find is if you're targeting dentists, have a dentist in your picture, because from my standpoint, if I'm a dentist and I'm scrolling through, now keep in mind, I've got other interests. I do kite surfing, and I am currently doing my laundry or whatever it may be. You're just kind of doing your thing, but then you see something that's a dentist and you go like, oh, I'm a dentist. What is this? Ding, that's it. Done. The picture's whole purpose, you have completed it. You have pre-framed them to say, oh, I'm a dentist. What's this about? So that picture is not necessarily the thing that you should be up at night thinking about. Its job is just, especially when you're niche marketing, the job is just to make the person raise their hand and say, oh, I'm a dentist. What's this about? So what is it that gets the person to actually come into your funnel, or actually read what you're saying, or participate in anything that you're offering them? Is the headline. When we're going through social media or any online marketing, we see a picture that stops us and we read the headline to see if we're going to invest our time in the ad or not. So if the headline says something ridiculous like dentists are lame, you're gonna be like, cool, see ya. I'm not interested in reading what this has to say. Think about it like you open up New York Times. You're going to scroll through New York Times and you're going to see a headline that's like really applicable to you. So let's just use like, COVID's all the thing right now. Like, let's just say it's like COVID shutting down all, movie theaters and restaurants and all this, you're going to be like, I'm interested in this. Like this affects my life. And so when someone sees a headline that's like, I'm interested in this, their brain literally makes the decision of like, I'm now investing my time into this. And from there, that's in our fishing analogy. That's
yes.
that's
For those of you on the podcast, Jered just got himself with a hook with his hands. Yeah. I'm like, how can I say this in a nice way? All right, Jered, I am so sorry I have to cut you off, but we actually both have to go to a meeting, which, I'd rather podcast all day. But so to just come back really quick to the first thing, and I'm going to summarize this in my words, what I got from it. And I want you to summarize it very quickly in like 2 sentences. Okay. What I got out of this is, how expensive is it really? Depends on a lot of things, but it's going to be a lot cheaper and you're going to get a lot bang for your buck if you A, niche down, and B, what you just said really struck a chord with me, is to have pictures that relate to people in your ads. I mean, that's obviously not the most important thing, but I thought that was really the key. What are your key takeaways, would you say, to sum it up?
Yeah. The truth is, how expensive is it? It's not expensive at all when done correctly. When done incorrectly, it's very expensive, because what pays for ads is results. So if you're getting results, your ads aren't expensive at all. No results, that's when they get expensive. So the idea is, you're going to want to take what we've talked about in this podcast and apply them into your own marketing strategy, so that way you're not paying for expensive ads.
Perfectly done, sir. Thank you so much for coming on today. And Cleaning Nation, if you like what you're hearing and you're like, geez, I really need help with this type of thing, I want to learn more, check us out at growmycleaningcompany.com. There's actually free training on there. And there's an opportunity to get on a call with one of our coaches to learn more. So check it out, growmycleaningcompany.com, for our free webinar, I guess you call it. Yeah, webinar. That's it, Cleaning Nation, and we'll see you later. Thanks a lot, Jered.
Wait, Lindsay, I want to say something.
Oh, no.
I want to say something really quick. So when you book a call, I get credited for it, because this is my episode. So if you're like, dude, this was great, I've been on the fence for a while, like, just go do it for Jered. All right, go jump on this call. These things are great. Like, Mike literally pays for coaches so that you don't have to pay anything for this. So this is why this is super beneficial. And so, yeah, I can't recommend it enough. I think getting on this call it's like, yeah, you can spend a lot in your ads, or you can get some coaching and not. And this is what it comes down to. Okay. Sorry, Lindsay.
It's okay. I was just messaging. I'm like, Jered and I are running late. No, very well said, Jered. All right. Cleaning Nation. Thanks again, Jered. I have a Post-it stuck to my arm. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me, but like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share with a friend, share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431. 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can, as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now. 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.